So yeah, a little more on water circulation without electric. I want to research if that's possible at all. But I'm looking at, most likely I'm going to need to buy a small low power water pump. Again, the water pump idea is only to agitate the surface tension of the enclosure I got in mind to get gases exchanged. That's what happens with a body of water. If you want a body of water oxygenated, get the surface tension broken now and again. And I thought, well, it's not going to be working with the bottle idea. And I've seen many people on YouTube have got these videos using the same thought process as the bottle, and I'm thinking, that's a bit of a powerful flow. That can't be right. I want a bit of a flow, and then I was thinking, well, yeah, it's not going to flow. It's going to stop at some point. You can't get more energy out than is going into a system. And it turns out that some of these videos that they're trying to fake it. There's other videos showing fake versus real on this. So I'll put a link below from somebody showing firsthand the same design, why this isn't working. And it's generally if the pressure difference doesn't allow it to flow the way is ideal, way we want it to, but that breaks physics in a way, because you're going to get a pressure difference and the bubble's going to come up through, bubble of air come up through the outlet, depleting, a change in the pressure, depleting the water in the container and not allowing the difference in pressure to cause suction on the inlet enough to beat gravitational force. I said it's been run by gravity. Yeah, they're run by gravity so long they just run the water out. Thinking of things like capillary action, something, and I will buy a small water pump anyway. I'm still trying to brainstorm a possibility of capillary action. Sometimes capillary action can go against gravitational force a little bit, and you have enough water above a body of water eventually, and then it's just got these drops coming down out of a sponge or spongy tissue, maybe. I doubt it's possible. Yeah, but surface water agitation is the key here. Be researching a bit more on pea puffer fish. The more I think about it, I think I might get the pea puffers. I've looked at ideas of how to breed live food for them because they're carnivores, and it looks like that's going to be relatively easy. Certainly, as I get the enclosure maturing, the plants growing over the weeks, it'll be more crystallized on which species I want to put in. But I have a rough idea already. Certainly, there's going to be shrimp. The shrimp is a guaranteed. I want to put some shrimp in there because, they're interesting to look at. They're fascinating creatures. Among other things that can go in a tank to feed on, like algae, to keep the feeding on algae is just really to keep the enclosure wall clearer enough so you can see what's going on, and the plants will help alleviate the toxins in the water, like I've said before. A proper balance with the ecosystem. So I'm going to start writing some of this down actually, in how the nitrate cycle works. I want that burned into my head properly, and we'll see how we do. I certainly want it to be low tech, and getting water circulation without electric, I think, is probably not going to be possible. Getting something that's powered, maybe solar powered, could be a thing. I want it to be inspiring enough to have people say, "Ah, I can do that, and I don't need to have this. I don't need that." This is why one of the motives to do it this way, and filtration system. Looking at how I've kept fish, tropical fish, cold water fish, over the years in fish tanks, conventional fish tanks. Conventional fish tanks are too clean in some ways, but you need that filtration, right? Which you get a bacteria culture within your filter to break down harmful things that may exist in the water. Plants will be doing this, a substrate, the bugs that live in the substrate will balance things out. Nature, billions of years ago, found a way with its own ways to keep things in balance and clean for occupants. That, I guess, I don't want to sound like it, say, "Oh, God made it." I'm not religious. What I'm thinking of, it's just natural selection, right? One thing works with another, and it's just how things work. Animals, bugs, creatures were opportunistic on certain things, and they evolved more efficiently to utilize those certain things. Like a whole food, that's why you get a whole food chain, right? You get fish that don't eat certain things like that other things do eat, but they can eat those other things. Yeah, it's like the puffer fish I got in mind, pea puffer fish eats a snail, but the pea puffer doesn't really want to eat algae that the snail eats. They're carnivores. So there we go, whole food chain process going on. There's something called scuds as well that I can breed in a tiny jar, actually. Well, a jar, not tiny, but one of these maybe. And that's going to be really easy to get into place as well. Get foodstuffs. It's going to be very easy to breed live food for the fish. I want it to be as natural as possible. I will be buying whenever, just in case, as a backup needed, like fish flakes or other flakes. Puffers will not eat flakes. They are notorious for not eating something that, if it doesn't move, it's not food, right? And if it's smaller than their mouth and does move, it's food. So scuds, tiny baby shrimp, could be a thing as well for them. They're full of character and very interesting. I want to look up how many I can get in the size of the enclosure I'm looking at. Hasn't arrived yet. I'll do a video soon on its arrival. Then people can see more of what the hell I'm talking about. It's like, what is this guy talking about? It's an enclosure for aquatic animals, basically. Those who know what scuds are, pea puffers, shrimp and all this, and aquatic plants in enclosure, you know where I'm going. It's a tropical enclosure. It's going to be an interesting journey. Lighting, looking into some LED lighting, not too strong because you don't want plants to grow too quick, and you don't want light all the time. Some natural ambient light should be enough. Basically, the stronger lighting is just so I can enjoy switching on light and seeing what's going on. But that should be, if you really want things to balance out, maybe I should be self-disciplined on even that, is lights on X time, lights off X time. How you do that? Well, what if I'm not here to switch it on or off? You can get timers that go on plugs for on and off, switching things on and off. Yeah. That's all I got to share really for now. Certainly, I'm going to be looking forward to sharing this on a deeper level with you, seeing it evolve, seeing the plants grow, seeing the occupants do their thing. The first active occupant you're going to see is moving around, apart from the plants growing. The first one you can see moving around is a shrimp. They'll only be introduced once it's kind of matured enough and the water quality is right. I've discovered I can actually buy shrimp on eBay, different types of species. People have said, don't put this type of shrimp with this type of shrimp and so on. They don't get along. No, that's not true. What they've heard is maybe they're crossbreed and they kind of default to a more there's some natural selection that's been bred into the aquatic industry, is breeding certain color types, so certain traits of color vibrancy versus a bit more dullness here and there. And that can happen in nature anyway. Sometimes you get a more vibrant shrimp color than others, but it's keeping that going is a more rare thing out there in the wild, but more common thing in captivity because it's naturally selected or artificially selected by human intervention. And that they get along fine. Most shrimp species get along fine with each other. There is one, the name escapes me at the moment, that they won't get on too well. So you can keep different types of shrimp with each other. But if you are the mindset you want to breed them to sell them off, you might be better off having one specific, because the industry tends to breed specific ones, and that's what the people who buy them have got to know those certain ones, and they get alienated a bit. It's like, oh, I don't know that one, that color. It doesn't look. It looks like the ones I'm breeding, but it's a very different color, or it's much duller than the ones I've got. It's going to discourage them a bit. I think I will, if they do breed, I'll do a thing where I can bulk buy some packaging that's ideal to get them transported and sell them on eBay. That's another side project further down the line. Get the enclosure first. But I'm enjoying playing with these ideas. My brain's like an idea factory once I start something like this. And it's enjoyable just to self-entertain with these ideas and share this out there with you, inspiring other people in that kind of hobby. Again, I've kept tropical fish on and off throughout my life. Had a massive fish tank in this room once. That was a lot of maintenance, a lot of work that I haven't got time and energy for now. Excuse me. Because back then when we had that, my work hours were different. I was on a 4-hour contract with overtime. Then I went to an 8-hour contract with overtime. Then it was a 12-hour contract with lots more overtime. So my time and energy is just down, and responsibility to care for a larger aquarium down. I can get away with what's gone up, finances for an interest for a enclosure that's coming soon. Finances, when I say finances, well, I want it to be as cheap as possible. I'll be clocking up the price of all this relatively, mostly overall, getting people to know how much this is going to cost. It's going to, the most of the costs with anything like this is the initial startup, and then the self-sufficiency over time is going to be a little bit of cost here and there that is minimal. Hopefully, that's the idea anyway. But the rewarding bit is the maintenance that will be mostly self-maining, but also intervening here and there, human intervention, maintenance. And the rewarding bit is having these healthy critters in an enclosure, and you know they're healthy and happy because you did that. That's what you did to care for these creatures, and it's always rewarding. It's just like having, if you've ever grown your own fruits and veg, that's rewarding. You get more out than it's required for you. Put the energy in. Again, starting something, that's where the biggest energy input is, and nature does the rest. This is no different, really. Nature, once the balance is there, nature will be doing these things. Waste from the occupants, feeding the plants, helping the water quality, and algae and biofilms growing, breaking down waste, and so on. This is going to be interesting to watch this evolve, like I've said before. Peace out. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.